In this video, we're going to talk about why the liar miner was probably created by liars and why we could have seen this coming. Plus, we're going to discuss what in the world a goldback is.
It's the Seth Stroud Show!
Welcome back, and thank you for tuning back in. I'm your host, Seth Estrada, and we're going to talk about a couple of mining concerns, and then we're going to talk about sound currency and why sound currency really matters, just briefly, and talk about one form of sound currency. If you're a fan of this channel, then you know I'm really kind of a fan of Ron Paul. I'm a fan of some of the libertarian ideals. I'm definitely a fan of the American Constitution and the idea that we need to be able to govern ourselves according to sound principles, but part of that has to do with governing ourselves with sound money. That's why cryptocurrency and why Bitcoin really attracted me initially. Frankly, when Ron Paul talked about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies early on in their life, he had already been talking about moving to credit unions and moving back to the gold standard for years before Satoshi Nakamoto even launched Bitcoin. So when that happened, it really caught my attention. But first things first, let's discuss the liar miner. Now, this comes courtesy of BTC Manager, the article here. And a big shout out to Brandon Coin, who was the first YouTuber that I saw talking about it publicly. I'm sure others have talked about it, but frankly, Brandon Coin, I really get a lot of value from when I watch his videos. And he's just obviously a good stand-up guy. So really appreciate him talking about it. But I wanted to really briefly point out maybe something that hasn't been mentioned yet. And that is to say, we probably should have seen this coming. So first off, what does BTC Manager have to say about it? They just say it's obvious that the specs are misleading and that it's falsified information. Let's take a look at their website to see what they mean. Right, so here's the liar miner. It says it mines Bitcoin at 335 terahash. I'm sorry, there are no ASIC miners that mine Bitcoin at that hash rate today. So to say that one little tiny box like this, if that's we'll just pretend like that's whatever, a 3-inch or even a 7-inch display right there on the front of maybe a 4U or 6U rack even, that's not possible today. Even if you were to remove all the hash boards from multiple units that you bought from Bitmain that has technically one of the most effective Bitcoin mining systems and ASICs today, you wouldn't be able to jerry-rig it into a box like that. Ask me how I know. So you're like, Seth, what do you mean? Well, frankly, I've been commissioned by some mining operations to take various kinds of equipment and then swizzle them into a different form factor so that they're more easily rack mountable. So this is me basically saying, I've tried to put ASIC miners into form factors like this for paying customers. It's not possible to jam 335 terahash worth of Bitcoin mining into a box that size. Right? It looks like roughly it's supposed to be a 6U case. And if they did, I mean, more power to them. But here's where they went off the deep end and they got emboldened by their lie. That is to say, it'd be one thing if you did that with Bitcoin alone, but they're also saying that it can mine Litecoin at 55 gigahash, Ethereum at 14 gigahash, and that the power consumption, or Dash at 9 terahash, so X11 at 9 terahash, and then the power consumption is only 600 watts for all of that. I'm sorry, it's just too good to be true. Anybody who understands the current state of mining, and obviously somebody's going to watch this 2 years from now and say, oh, but you're wrong. We've already got that. Look at product X, and it totally does Bitcoin at 335 terahash. Well, excuse me, future person. Today, in 2019, these numbers are simply not possible at a power consumption of 600 watts. So the efficiency is not there. And let's take a look at what else they were saying. Oh dear, we'll get to that also. The liar miner and the harp miner. I have some choice words here. And I think that, frankly, this is just my take on it. I think that we may find that the founders of this company, that they come out afterwards and they essentially say, you know, just kidding. We got you guys. Here's why, in my estimation, this is actually all a giant ruse and it's a social experiment. And we're just waiting for, you know, the a la Jimmy Kimmel, right? Jimmy Kimmel. We're going to wait for afterwards for them to say like, hey, we got you. We got you all. I don't know how much money they've actually raised for this. I don't know if there are any customer stories of people who transferred funds, but let's take a look at when you click on Shop Now, let's take a look at what the options are. On their website, this order now, the Lyre miner is $5,000, and it looks like I think the Harp miner is, I think, $25,000. So these are neat numbers, right? $25,000. And they talk about it being 2,000 terahash, which, by the way, guys, just for your info, Bitharp, if you want to commit this kind of fraud, at least get the nomenclature right. That would be 2 petahash or petahash, depending on how you say it. I don't like saying petahash because it's like...
File is my second name.
Oh, right, I see. Pedophile.
Who's a paedophile?
No. His name is Peter File.
His name is paedophile.
Who's a paedophile?
No one's...
Right, it just sounds like paedophile.
No, it doesn't.
Does a bit. Paedophile.
Pedophile, yeah, no, it does.
So petahash, right? So 2 petahash is what you're actually peddling there. Litecoin, they say it's 300 gigahash. Ethereum, 75 gigahash in a given rack. Now, to their credit, some of these numbers are almost believable depending on what kind of silicon you stuff into a box like this, how you cool it, and what kind of bit streams you have for it. Because frankly, you simply can't get this kind of performance on some of these algorithms without using FPGAs. ASICs, maybe, but realistically FPGAs, the current state of HBM2 FPGAs from Xilinx would allow for a little bit more performance, but that level of performance is very forward-looking on a couple of them. So Dash 50 terahash. I mean, frankly, that's not it's not totally out of the question, but kind of weird. So the unit can only mine 1 coin with the possibility to switch. So they're not very clear about whether or not it. I think maybe what they're trying to say is you can't mine all 4 algorithms at once, which technically in the case of Dash would make it 14 algorithms all at once, but whatever, I digress. So, but I think they're saying you can switch. You can switch. All 4 of those coins are mineable with this one unit. So take a look here so you can see what I'm seeing. But this unit right here, it's just not something that you can fit that much hash power into. So there you go, 2 petahash to get you guys kind of starting off on the right foot. When we click on order now, here's what we see. First off, I could probably also just inspect the source to see exactly what they're dealing with here. This is off-the-shelf WordPress stuff, so they could have gone to Vultr, and for less than $50, they could have launched this website. $10 for the domain, bitharp.com, maybe $12 max for the domain, bitharp.com, and then for less than $30, they could have already paid for hosting and had a WordPress installation popped up somewhere else. The theme is not super impressive, right? So just to let's reverse engineer how much does it take? Let's put ourselves in the shoes of the scammers, right? How much does it take? And I'm obviously fully confident in calling this a scam. It's obviously so, right? Like, there's nothing that can perform like this. But this is clearly like a WordPress theme that they just did some very simple tweaks to. Your order, number. Let's go through this, right? So, okay, cool. I'm gonna go through this process, but I'm gonna actually jump out of the screen so you can't see my autofill. Oh dear.
Several bad puns later.
You know what? I'd love 100 of them. Let's give them $2.5 million. Next! There you go. We can only pay in Bitcoin, Litecoin, or Ethereum. That's only 44,607 Litecoin. Oh yeah. Thank you. So let's take a look and see on that address if anything has come through. While we're doing that, let's choose Bitcoin instead and use a block explorer there. There's grand total of 5.5 Bitcoin they've received, but they're cleared out. Number of transactions 22. We'll take a look at that another time. Guys, I want to post all of these addresses. I'll go ahead and I'll post the blockchain.com and then the other block explorer addresses with the addresses listed from Bitharp in the description down below. So go ahead and take a look at that. Use the block explorer to take a look at that yourself, or you can check out the Bitharp website and you can do what I just did, and you can get this figured out for yourself. But just take a look at the numbers, right? This is the beauty of blockchain, specifically public ledger. What's nice about it is that it helps to expose operations like this far better. But again, I am under the impression that once pressed for details, the people operating this company, Bitharp, I think what they'll do is come out and say, hey, guys, this is way too easy. You're way too gullible. And either they'll give the money back, or after enough of these videos, people will take action to their own hands and report them to the authorities, and they'll be made to give the money back. We'll see. Made to give the Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum back. Because it appears that, jump back in, they haven't received any Litecoin payments. Surprise, surprise. Sorry, Charlie Lee. All right, so let's take a look at the Ethereum address here. Boom. Addresses. Known address. And their current value is just not, wow, not impressive. But it does appear they've been shuffling some Ether back and forth, so they're not keeping it here for long. And that is very, very smart on their part. But I'm super curious to know exactly what the total story is there. Guys, without boring you to tears, I'm going to post all of the Block Explorer addresses from Etherscan and from blockchain.com. And then I also used blockcipher.com for the Litecoin, Block Explorer. Those are all down in the description. So take a look at that and have fun. We'll do some follow-up in a little while. I don't want to get too forensic on you, but it seems apparent to me, this is my assertion. What I believe is that Bitharp was actually created as a social experiment, and here's what I mean. I think that the names give it away, Bitharp. And I think these two names of the products, the liar miner, I think that they're literally telling us it's a lie. They are liars. I know, it's really bad, but I'm a dad, so I make bad dad jokes. And so this makes sense to me. They're liars, and they are playing all of you like a... Do I have to say it? They're playing you like a harp, right? So I think it's pretty apparent that this was a scam from day one. And apparently there's news from the community, people saying that they've gone to the listed addresses when you go to contact here. They've gone to the addresses listed here, both in Ontario, Canada, and to the one in New Zealand, and they've found nothing. So info at Bitharp, press at Bitharp. I doubt that those are going to return any kind of emails if you do send them, other than with... there you go, general for info, other than it closing a deal, because clearly they've moved some money, right? Like 5.5 Bitcoin, that is not a trivial amount of money. Now it's not a ton either, frankly, but it's enough to go to jail for. So, man, is it really worth it? I don't think so. That's why I kind of believe this is probably just a social experiment. Then again, who knows? Maybe the characters behind it are totally okay with that. Let's find out more. Here's their video.
Hello, I'm Ethan Hall, and today we have Bitharp Engineer Director Daniel Cox, which I'm very happy to meet.
Which you're very happy to meet? Surely you mean whom? Whom? Whatever. Phrasing.
Nice to meet you too, Ethan.
He's wearing a polo shirt that he had printed up with his logo on it. I mean, you've never seen people who are trying to shill you ref links and lie to you wearing a polo shirt with their own logo on it, right? That's never happened in the crypto space. So, whatever.
Here's the thing. Bitharp is a new revolution to cryptocurrency because the investors see the return on their investment their very first month.
What do you mean by any kind of investor, Daniel?
Ethan.
Ethan. It's just the whole thing is so obviously, I mean, to me, it's just funny, guys. It's just funny. They know that they're scamming, and they know that only a fool would fall for this. I mean, look at the view count on this video. Less than 2,000 views on this video. How in the world did we let them get away with 5.5 Bitcoin and over 125 Ethereum? How did we even let it get this far, guys? Look at the video. It's so painfully obvious. And then the specs, so painfully obvious. Who has so many more dollars than cents that they've decided to blow their hard-earned crypto on this?
Our products are manufactured and designed for customers with zero knowledge.
Even that like little tell right there. Who's the guy that does the body language videos on YouTube? He'd have a field day with this, right? Look at that guy's little tick. We're trying to sell to customers with zero knowledge. Looks off camera like, ugh, obviously, because anybody with any real knowledge knows this is fake.
Basically, the product works like a plugin. Enter the data pool and start mining.
Is it possible to mine with Harp Miner at home?
Yes, both miners, Lyre and Harp, can be used in your home, office, data center, or in any other places with electricity or internet services.
So look at Ethan being so sketched the entire time. In fact, I'm going to do a music video just based on these two. Guys, you are now internet infamous.
Thank you, Daniel, for coming in today, for all the information that you provided. We look forward to hearing from you in the future.
Yes, absolutely.
This has got to be a joke, guys. Seriously? D. Cox? I mean, I'm not going to get like super gross on you, but I think they're trying to use a metaphor for you getting screwed. Oh dear. And I think it is, I think the whole thing is just a joke. So right here, Ontario, Canada, let's give them a ring, shall we? We'll do it live.
2,000 years later.
All right, guys, I'm calling it a wash. Boop. It was worth a try, at least I thought. So I'm not super surprised by this, guys. Profitability, let's take a quick look, and then we're done here. Guys, this should have just been totally painfully obvious, and they updated this in August. So they've been at it for a while. I don't know what else to say about this other than it should be painfully obvious that it was a scam. Should have been painfully obvious from the start. It's really funny that we even have to make these videos at all. I figured I'd do something a little bit different from what everybody else is doing because you're hearing from so many people that this is not legit. Okay. All right. So moving on, guys, I wanted to talk to you about something called a GoldBack. Now, this was kind of brought to my attention by an associate friend of mine, Austin Craig. You may know him from such instant classics as Life on Bitcoin and the potential follow-up, which I keep trying to convince him to make, altcoins in preparation for alt season, the rise of altcoins, right? Altcoin season 3.0. But this is called a GoldBack, and this is 1/1000th of a troy ounce of gold in foil that is embedded on a sheet right here that looks like an actual spendable note. And 1/1000th of a troy ounce of gold. What does that even mean? Well, a troy ounce of gold is just the unit of measurement. This is a 24 karat gold that's inlaid into this note. So it is literally worth its weight in gold. Rather, the amount of gold on it has real value as backed by the asset. So pretty cool right there. Now, obviously, you've seen people within the crypto space. You've seen all kinds of limited edition like silver coins or limited edition collectors coins, collector's edition precious metals and semi-precious metal coins. And I think that's really cool. I think that's a really cool idea. My hat goes off to anybody trying something new. This is backed by an organization that attempts to do custodial ownership of this note, and they've worked with several vendors within the state of Utah to make it a voluntary currency. It even says right here, voluntary local currency up on the top, so that it's actually accepted by different vendors. You can go into certain grocery stores, spend this, and get a loaf of bread or a gallon of milk with gold. It's pretty cool. Now, that said, do I think it's any cooler than being able to walk into a retail store and being able to pay with, say, like Monero or any other privacy coin with crypto at the point of sale? No, I don't think it's any better or worse. I just think it's a different asset class that is not the US dollar based on circulating debt. So, provably superior to the US dollar. That's why I like this. So thank you again, Austin Craig, for bringing this to my attention. I think we share some values there, share some views there in terms of dealing with sound money as opposed to money that can be easily gamed by whomever, but especially by the federal government of the United States. They sometimes have agendas that we don't agree with. Pretty darn cool. Now this is one, oh, there you go. Can you see it? One GoldBack. It's so... Oh, look at that. You can see my screen and everything. That's so cool. So, my screens. But it's one GoldBack. That means it's 1/1000th of a troy ounce. They also make them in 5, 10, 25, and 50 GoldBack denominations. And you can get one by going to their website. But let's look a little bit about what they sent me. So, they sent me a little newsletter for the month of October, which, of course, we just got into. But right here, their newsletter says that they are still giving away Utah GoldBacks. Pretty awesome. I'm going to check to see if my wife and kids can register their own accounts. My kids had their own credit union accounts years ago, and we've talked extensively about the virtues of cryptocurrency and hardware wallets and storage, cold storage of cryptocurrency, and trying to get them more involved in the concept of investing into asset classes that can appreciate on their own because of scarcity. So again, because it is literal gold inside of this note, well, it's going to appreciate the way that gold does, right? So, or depreciate, or it's going to ride that roller coaster, right? I'm not saying that gold is your best friend per se, or diamonds or any other asset class. I mean, obviously, diamonds, I'm not a huge believer in because of De Beers and their interference years ago, and now synthetic precious stone creation. But gold, right? They're not until this can be completely synthesized. Gold is not a terrible investment, in my opinion, gold and silver. But again, hey, this is not legal, financial, or investing advice. Just saying I got this by going to this website after a friend showed it to me. But let me show to you what their breakdown is, what their rationale is. So moving on, this is the United Precious Metals Association, upma.org. You can see right there. Anybody can go and visit it. And let's see, welcoming the Utah GoldBack. It was updated on the 24th of July, so this is not current info, but they say only 1s and 5s have been produced so far. As I understand it, they are also selling, or at least pre-selling, 10, 25, and 50 GoldBack denominated notes. And anybody who registers a new account with UPMA receives one of these, along with their first, their opening welcome newsletter, receives one of these in the mail. But let's take a look to see what that means. The opinion of their general counsel, Larry Hilton, the Utah GoldBack is actually legal tender in the state of Utah under the Utah Specie Legal Tender Act, which he himself authored. Well, I mean, he might be a little biased there. Maybe, if he did author that. However, it says it means that under the Utah state law, that the GoldBack is a voluntary legal tender in Utah. The goal is for the GoldBack to circulate within the state. If you have a business in Utah and would like to accept gold, then please contact us. The GoldBack may be used as a barter tool outside of Utah. Again, as you know, if it's 1/1000th of a troy ounce of gold, then that is a standard based on the value of that asset class. So it's perfectly reasonable to be able to barter with it outside of the state of Utah. So does it benefit you outside of the state of Utah or even outside of the United States? Yeah, it does. It does. It carries intrinsic value. So let's see. The Utah businesses, list of Utah businesses that accept GoldBacks as payment will be published soon after the UPMA's annual monetary summit on September 28th. If you'd like to attend the event, please make a reservation. Obviously, this is outdated. But there you go. It's being offered exclusively through the UPMA Association through the pre-launch period. After September 28th, the GoldBack will also become available at many coin stores in Utah. So pretty darn cool. Now this is in my backyard, right? So it's of interest to me. Previously lived many years in Texas and in California as well. So in addition to Florida. So does this matter in any other states outside of Utah? Of course, it's still gold. It's still cool that they're handing it out. How much does 1/1000th of a troy ounce actually come out to? Well, what they're saying right now on their website is that it was worth $250 as of July 24th. But what is a troy ounce of gold worth now? Well, here's a calculator. Thanks, DuckDuckGo. Wait a second, I'm in the wrong place here. So they brought up the xe.com calculator and embedded it here into DuckDuckGo. Privacy search tool. 1 troy ounce is 1510 roughly in US dollars. And let's move that decimal over to 1,000th. And it's $1.51. So a far cry from the $2.50 that UPMA alleges that the GoldBack is worth. But still, $1.50. They're paying to ship it to you also. My membership fee at UPMA cost me nothing. So they're investing in membership right now. That's their marketing tool. So pretty darn cool. I think it's an interesting thing. I think it's a very interesting movement. We'll see how successful it is. But in the meantime, I got me 1/1000th of a troy ounce of gold just for registering, which is awesome. So, guys, that's the video that I have for you today. That's all I got. There's plenty to talk about, I guess, in terms of what to mine, but we'll save that for another time. Guys, thank you so much for watching to this point in the video. Thank you so much for clicking on the, where is it? There it is, the subscribe button, and then pressing the bell icon so you're notified when new videos like this come out. You're the reason I make this media. I love your face, and I will see you in the next one.